For 3 million years, this prehistoric beast has thrived by eating anything and everything that crosses its path. The Nile crocodile, one of the world's great predators, seen like it's never been seen before. From the inside out, through the eyes of Predator. When a Nile crocodile launches out of the water and clamps onto its prey, there's virtually no escape. His 65 teeth are connected to some of the strongest jaws on the planet, producing a bone-crushing 1.1 metric tons of bite force. For its size, a bite more powerful than a great white shark. But unlike a great white shark, a crocodile doesn't tear its prey apart alive. It uses its powerful jaws to pull prey underwater, long enough to drown it. These jaws, able to overpower a panicked 225-kilogram animal, represent some of nature's most advanced biomechanical engineering. Fast twitch muscles give all animals, including cheetahs, great white sharks, and humans, quick bursts of speed and strength. But this croc has super fast twitch muscles in his jaws, which generates 65% more force than a normal fast twitch muscle. And with the hinge point of his jaw at the back of his skull, it increases his jaw's length, allowing him to generate more speed when he clamps it shut. His snap is a lightning-fast 9 meters per second, nearly 4 times faster than a rattlesnake strike. But while many of the crocs feast on their prey, others pass on the action. It's not a meal. Sometimes it's about the next generation. This mother crocodile will spend the next 3 months focusing solely on her children. She won't stray far, if at all, from her nest of 40 incubating eggs. One day ago, she caught a 5-kilogram tilapia, which yielded her 10,000 calories. But that won't last long, given that in the last 6 weeks, she's been expending 5,100 calories per day. Producing these 40 eggs, a process called yolking, is the most energy-consuming task this mother crocodile will ever undertake. Especially considering that each egg contains food for her hatchlings. Watching over her nest, she may fall into energy debt. To survive, she'll need to dip into the fat reserves stored in her abdomen, behind her front legs, and even at the base of her tail. High-pitched calls alert her that her eggs are hatching. All 40 of them. But for many of these hatchlings, the first moments of their lives are their last. Adult crocodiles sit at the top of the food chain. They have virtually no predators of their own. But when they're born, they're actually at the bottom of the food chain. Their mother needs to get them out of harm's way. She'll do this by transporting them in her mouth. She has a band of cartilage in her jaw that allows her to lock her jaws in place at any stage of her bite, so she can adjust the tension like the cables on a suspension bridge. She can even lock her mouth open just 2 inches wide, allowing her to carry 20 babies at a time without accidentally biting them. But she has to get her nearly 40 hatchlings to a nearby safe pond where they at least have a chance. She'll need to make a few trips. And each time she does, she'll have to leave some of the newborns in danger.
Mother picks them up, puts them in the pouch, and walk it back down to the river. And out you go, Junior, and go back and get the rest. While she's down there, there's some predator in there going, eating another one. It's like, the kids!
Make that 12. If only she weren't so consumed with childcare, this starving mother would be near the Mara River, waiting for her favorite meal to arrive. Each year, 1 million wildebeest march through Kenya and Tanzania, eating short green grass. They travel up to 1,600 kilometers in search of greener pastures. Why go to all this trouble for grass? Because the million wildebeest need so much of it, going through over 4,000 metric tons every day. And this search for short grass will inevitably force these wildebeest twice a year to cross the Mara River, where the crocodiles are waiting.
You're sick, and suddenly your belly literally starts vibrating. And the sound of a million foot coming towards you.
The rumbling gets louder and louder. But when they get to the river, the wildebeest don't plunge right in. After weeks on the move, they're dehydrated.
The first thing they want is a drink. And the ones 10 deep back there are going, "Grr, Let me through, I'm thirsty.
They're so desperate for a drink, they ignore the fact that just a few meters from their noses, the crocodiles are lurking.
Crocodile is a perfect camouflaged animal. If you look at a crocodile's head when he's in the water, all you see is half an inch of nostril and an eyeball. Everything else is underwater.
He can submerge completely and silently by simply expelling some of the air in his large lungs. And like a submarine with senses, he's built to operate underwater. Flaps protect his ears, nose, and throat. And a thin, transparent membrane covers his eyes. The croc is a close-in assassin. He creeps toward his prey and sits tight. He's waiting for a wildebeest to come into his kill radius, 2 meters away. Outside 2 meters, his lunge will probably be unsuccessful. Inside 2 meters is another story. So, how does this croc explode out of the water at 12 meters per second? Serrated scales increase the surface area in contact with the water. For the croc, that means smoother sailing. His rear legs work like pistons, providing just enough of a boost to propel him off the shallow river bottom. But the real power comes from his undulating muscular tail, half the length of his body, accelerating him towards his prey, faster than a jet plane. So when blink of an eye is constant, ready to attack. Now, the feeding begins. This croc's stealth hunting leads to a huge caloric payday. A meal with over 50,000 calories. But back at the hiding pool, this mother croc is near the end of her fat reserves. Producing eggs and protecting her young is tremendously energy depleting. Each day without food costs this mother croc another 1,200 calories. What's worse, after starting with 40 hatchlings, only 12 are left. But even at a month old, unparalleled adversity can't keep them from what nature intended. To hunt and kill, right from the get-go.
Anything that's small enough to get their head or their jaws around and moves, they're going to go for it. insects, small frogs, small fish, they're just gonna snap at it.
Growing hatchlings must eat 5% of their own weight each week. And even at 2 weeks old, they already know a maneuver that will help them eat much larger prey. The death roll. It's the same technique this adult crocodile on the Mara River needs to dismember the wildebeest he just killed.
One of the animals will grab hold, another one will start twisting or body rolling. You'll sometimes have two crocodiles twist in opposite directions till they rip a piece of meat off in half, and each one will swallow it and they'll come back in.
With no hands, the crocs don't have enough leverage to tear the wildebeest apart. So spinning once, twice, or sometimes even 3 times around their own axis, they generate more than 200 kilograms of force, creating the torque and shearing force necessary to rip off chunks of wildebeest. But dismemberment is only half the battle. His mouth and jaws make for a deadly grasp, but he can't actually chew. His jaw won't move sideways. So this predator has to swallow huge pieces whole. And this puts an enormous strain on his digestive system. But his stomach is specially designed to process these massive slabs of meat. Food goes through his esophagus and drops down into an area of his stomach filled with small stones that he has swallowed. They tumble and grind the wildebeest parts. Bones, tendons, horns, hooves, whatever it is, it gets broken down. Then, the smaller pieces mix with high concentration